Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this Warcraft Rumble dungeon guide, I'm going to take a look at Gnomeregan on a Blackrock week, and specifically this Emperor Thaurissan army that I used in a red difficulty dungeon. First, let's take a quick look at the Gnomeregan dungeon mechanics. The first boss, Crowd Pummeler, melee cannon attacks and knock player minis off the platform, and yeah, they do. However, flying minis, when they get knocked off the platform, they can just fly back. When ground minis get knocked off the platform, even in some of these gaps, they're just gone. So the main plan for this one is to take this meeting stone and then start attacking it from both sides. With ranged units, Chimera I suppose is the best one. Chimera can just do so many things, and it can also recover from being knocked back, but any ranged units really can handle it if you send them from both sides so that the boss can't knock them all down quickly enough. Then there's also these protective devices: Gnomish Harm Prevention Belt, limited time protection, known to attract gnomes if left sitting too long. So these give the minis temporary shield, but also if they're here for a while, then a safe pilot will spawn and from the boss's side and grab them and then start attacking you. So you want to pick these up when you have time to use that, but the main thing is to get this stone and get these attacks from two sides going. The second boss, Electrocutioner 6000, is the most annoying and most difficult boss in all of the dungeons in this game, because you're just going to be swarmed by so many minis. It has rocket towers, so you can't outrange rocket towers, and these rocket towers also have this kind of mist around them that deals elemental damage to your minis. The boss itself deals a whole bunch of elemental damage, so you would kind of want to tank it with something resistant. Even a Quillbore will do, but also Fire Elemental used to be pretty sweet when it could also tank the rocket towers, but nowadays it doesn't do that nearly as effectively. So you need something to take the rocket towers. Sappers with rocket boots is the best option. If they don't have rocket boots, then at least one of the sappers is going to die, because slow sappers just are not fast enough to get underneath of the rocket. But rocket boot sappers, even if they're one-on-one against tower, they will be able to hit the tower. If you don't have rocket boots on your sappers, you probably want to use a gargoyle. And once you get both towers, you really have to get some towers here. Then you want to attack the boss and use a resistant tank to turn the boss around and then get some damage on it from behind. For example, Chimera can be very strong, but resistant tanks are the key to getting to the boss. And if you win the second map, you have basically won the dungeon, because Mekgineer Thermaplugg is not much of a boss. Control switches to summon walking bombs for big damage. Thermaplugg has this shield here, so Thermaplugg takes very little damage otherwise, but there will be walking bombs coming over here or coming over here, depending on who is going to break through these switches. Switches cannot be claimed by flying, so you can claim them with ground troops and you can claim them with spells. You're just trying to keep minis on both sides of the map at all times, so that whenever these spawn, you get to destroy them immediately. So just go back and forth and always send miners whenever possible, because there's plenty of gold here to mine and it's all very close to your base. And yeah, Thermaplugg is just a game of whack-a-mole basically, and then that's Gnomeregan. And this is my army for Emperor Thaurissan. I'm using Whelpex, I'm using Pyromancer, I'm using Footman, Witch Doctor, Goblin Sappers, and Plague Farmer. And I'm using the Hubris talent notably here on Emperor Thaurissan. You don't necessarily have to have that, but it really helps, because Hubris can give additional levels. There are two minis that can get additional levels in this army, and those are either the Sappers, so that the Sappers can immediately take a tower. Right now my Sappers are a couple of levels lower than the dungeon level, so they cannot destroy a tower on their own. They need something like Whelpex to help them actually get the tower down, or you can use it on Footman. And that means that you can get a tank that suddenly, instead of being below the dungeon level, it can come up to the dungeon level or even above, and that just helps them be so much more tanky. So for this one, for the first boss, it's the usual ranged minis, especially Plague Farmer can kill the first boss from afar, make some Whelpex as well. Then for the second boss, those Sappers, you can use Sappers plus Whelpex combo to take a tower, especially if there's something already close to the tower, then those Whelpex can kill it at the same time. Or then you can use Thaurissan's Hubris to buff the Sappers, and then they can even take a tower alone. Also, Footmen in this one, you can split Footmen in every map. You can split Footmen in the first map, you can split Footmen in the second map to go middle and one of the towers, and you can also split them in the third map to go into both directions of those vats. So Footmen just split pushing with those is pretty effective here. And third map is of course just whack-a-mole, one side and then the other. And this is what it all looks like in action. So here we go, Thaurissan in Gnomeregan, and first boss, which is obviously just the warm-up to meet the Electrocutioner. But in the first boss, I want to try to get the tower, I want to try to get towards the chest and those shields, and this time actually those chickens were a little bit too fast and no-nos. Well, luckily not that many chickens got the shield, so it's going to be fine. And my progress towards the meeting stone is going reasonably well, although now I'm going to lose to that safe pilot. Okay, well, I was able to get the Whelpix out there just in time, so that my progress on the stone was not reversed. And now we're trying to get some progress on it, and we're finally able to. Yes. Okay, so a bit of not greatest start, but the enemy did not get to mine any, so I'm still getting to mine, and I can start sending plague farmers. And some witch doctoring, grabbing those chickens down. Alright, now plague farmer with the shield. Okay, it's going to get destroyed by that griffin rider eventually, but look at all the damage that it dealt before it was destroyed. That was still pretty wonderful. And now, just attacking range minis from both sides. I especially like to send plague farmers down from down below, and then those plague farmers will just chip in damage. Well, won't chip in now because they were destroyed by the targeting reticle. And you can throw in some sappers every once in a while as well if you happen to have extras, and you can throw in Whelpix. So this boss does not stand a chance. It's just so going down. And boom. But then it's the really hard boss, the Electrocutioner, and those rocket towers. So you want to take some towers as quickly as you can. So here I happen to have sappers and Whelpix in my opening hand, which meant that I was able to take one tower immediately and then start fighting against the push that is coming through the middle. So now I'm trying to stabilize on getting one of the towers, and then I am going to try to get this defense going. Here I'm using footmen, and I'm trying to split push with the footmen. Also notice that footmen got Emperor Thaurissan's hubris, so they got +2 bonus levels here. And that means that now I'm able to use those footmen very effectively. I can also get sappers out there and some Whelpix. Sappers, Whelpix, typical way to take a tower. Alright, I have characters going through the middle, but I'm still having trouble stabilizing on the left tower. The right tower is quite comfortably mine, but that left tower, yeah, we're nowhere close to getting it yet. But it's okay, we still have a chance, because we have such a good position on the right tower, and we're able to send minis through the middle as well. So now just a little bit, hoping to get to a position where I could just drop those hubris sappers, which will then be able to immediately take the tower. Obviously, if you do this at a slightly lower level, then you will be able to take towers easier. Well, now I lost one of them, but the other one was enough together with the Whelpix. But then there's another Mekgineer coming. So it appears that this fight for the tower is not over yet. I'm going to try to mine a little bit here now that I have an opportunity to do that, because otherwise I risk also that the enemy might be able to go and mine. Also trying to keep sending minis to the middle, I'm able to take the chest. Being able to grab some of those chests is really valuable. Now I'm waiting with the Whelpix, and then just at the right moment dropping the Whelpix, so that boom, they killed both the Mekgineer Dwarf and they killed the troll. And I'm still not getting the base. But I keep fighting for the base, and I keep sending minis through the middle. Trying to do them both. That is the way. That is the best chance I have. This time, sadly, there's a Griffin Rider meeting my Plague Farm, which means the Plague Farmer is not going to get anywhere. But it's okay. And the leftmost tower. We have been fighting for that tower for 2.5 minutes here, almost. Now I'm wondering if I need, but the tower on the right is so healthy that it can actually handle those spiderlings. Those towers have some difficulty fighting against the spiderlings, because spiderlings are no longer vulnerable to the tower's ammunition, but it should still be quite alright overall. Getting Plague Farmer to grab the chest in the middle. So really, what has been different between this attempt and various attempts that have failed is that this time I have been able to send enough stuff through the middle to get most of the chests. Even though I have not been able to solidify the leftmost tower. I have been able to deny so much gold from the AI that I'm keeping up with this fight. And now overtime is approaching, and now I managed to get the tower up. So this is the perfect position. You want to have both towers when overtime starts, because if you have both towers when overtime starts, you can start a vast assault, and you can even afford to lose one of the towers. If the AI keeps pressuring you on one side, you can just let them take one of the towers at some point and just keep on attacking instead. So you don't have that sort of leeway. If you already have only one tower, then the AI is going to attack your base and you have to try to defend your base, because if you lose your base, you die. But now everything is going smoothly and well, and this Electrocutioner is going down. Finally, there's Mekgineer Thermaplugg, who is more of a formality anyway. Although, yikes, Prowler is a little bit scary because you really need a tank against the Prowler. But there we have Emperor Thaurissan doing the good work over mages. Ouch. I'm sending some Whelp-X. Whelp-X cannot claim those switches, but Whelp-X can still be useful, because if you drop them on something like a Molten Giant, for example, Giant breaks the eggs, but then it cannot attack the Whelps, and then the Whelps will eventually kill it. So they're still very useful mini, even though they are flying. And here I'm also split pushing with the footmen. I could also send the footmen from behind my base if I had a little bit more time, so that I already had presence on both sides and I wanted to make sure that they are going to stay in the fight for longer. But now I'm just sending them as quickly as possible because I didn't have sufficient forces in position already. And here we go, just breaking those switches. Pyromancer doing a spectacular job here. Now, unfortunately, it looks like that footman is going to fall, but I have another split push of footmen coming already, which ensures that I will have a presence on the map through all times. Cycling, always remember also to send miners whenever you can, and try to send miners so that they are safe, because sometimes if there is, for example, especially Prowler coming in, then Prowler, if it kills what you have on the side, and then it will charge at your miner, and then you will lose a lot of income. So be a little bit careful about that, but otherwise it's going to be completely fine. And here, boom, just getting those switches broken down. Always trying to send miners whenever possible. Pyromancer just breaking those switches, so boom, 2 switches from 1 pyro. Awesome. Did lose a little bit here, but that still seems okay. I mean, we're far in the lead. And keeping split pushing with the footmen means that I just keep up presence on both sides. And yeah, there we go, there we go. Just footmen everywhere, other support units, miners mining as much as they can. And the game is over, and dungeon has been conquered by Emperor Thaurissan. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.